on the News Channel 5 network. This is MorningLine with Nick Barris.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us on MorningLine on this Tuesday. Nick Barris here, and really, this morning we're going to be talking about maybe how you can help, how you can get involved. Thanksgiving just a couple of days away. So much going on in this great city. People still in need, and organizations out there that do a fantastic job helping those who need some help and need a leg up. And we're going to get into the details of this. We're going to get up some information for you and invite you also to join in the conversation if you'd like. Obviously, the Nashville Rescue Mission is one of many, and it's one that is close to my heart. I go back years following and being involved with the mission, and it started with Larry Britton, who used to co-host this show with me. And Larry Britton, an investigative reporter, he was the Phil Williams before Phil Williams, and he would look into charitable organizations in town, and he would always tell me, Nick, there's a lot of them out there that don't do it the way they should, and there's problems. And he would do stories sometimes exposing that. And I remember looking at him and sometimes saying, well, Larry, if you really want to know about one that you can trust for sure. And he goes, Nick, there are several, but one, Nashville Rescue Mission. He always believed in it. He always said they did it right. The leadership there always did a great job. And I believe it continues to this day. And that's one reason I volunteer, and I'll be out there tomorrow. We're going to talk about that and talk about the issue of the group that they serve there and how things are changing in the city of Nashville with Reverend Glenn Cranfield. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Nick.
Nice to see you. You are president and CEO of the Nashville Rescue. And when he sat down, I was saying about Larry and Reverend Carl Reesner, who years ago, and for years and years and years, built that up. And that man's a legend. And he earned Larry Britton's respect, which is saying a lot. And a good man, someone that Larry always trusted and thought the most of in this organization.
Yes, Carl Reesner was incredible. And of course, he's gone on to be with the Lord now, but just phenomenal. His love and his passion for the work that he did was unmatchable. And he's not only known well in Nashville, but across the country in rescue mission work. And people ask me about, are we continuing the pattern and the pathway that he set forward? And we are. We're doing it with integrity and doing it with grace and doing it with wisdom. And I'm really proud of our board of directors and all of those that are really following after the footsteps of folks like Carl to say, what a great start. Now let's continue on. And my thought is that one day in heaven, Carl will be proud of what's happening today based upon what he started years ago.
I can't help but think, he's looking down and he's seeing how things and the resources and how things have changed. Well, what do you think he would be most surprised of right now? I think he probably would wish in his heart of hearts that the rescue mission wasn't needed anymore.
I think that's true.
Meaning, like, he loves it, but then if it wasn't needed, because we know, the group it serves.
Absolutely. I think he would be astounded by the sheer numbers. 800 to 850 per night.
Is that right?
800 meals a day just on any given day. And I think those things, one of the largest rescue missions across the United States, and I think that would really astound him. It astounded me when I came to Nashville to check this out. And a lot of cities like Dallas and LA and Denver and Houston, the largest cities, have multiple rescue missions. And so Nashville really is kind of in that size of a market where we have one, but everyone seems to come into the one, and it makes it one of the larger ones.
Yeah, the facility itself is large enough to accommodate those numbers. I don't even know, what is the square footage of that? It's over there off Lafayette if you've not been there. But
you know what? Architecturally, it's a lot.
It's a lot. Okay, I don't want to put you on the spot, but it is big, and it's
an old Sears building.
It's an old Sears building there, and so you have sleeping quarters.
Yes.
Correct, and then you have the dining quarters, and there's an auditorium there. Will there be a graduation again tomorrow?
There is a graduation for those that are on the 12-month Life Recovery Program. We have the graduation on the Wednesday prior to Thanksgiving every year. In fact, we have graduations every month, but always in November. It's the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. An incredible time.
Yeah, I always stick my head in there when I get there.
Phenomenal testimonies and stories about how lives have been changed and transformed. This is what I used to be. This is what I used to do. Now I've gone through this. This is who I am now, and my life really is ahead of me. It's so exciting.
Oh yeah, and they can maybe get started, go off on their own, to some degree. I'm just wondering, as you see these folks coming in right now, have you noticed a change in demographic at all? It seems like over the last several years, the age of the folks coming is getting younger and younger.
Yes, absolutely.
True still, or is it kind
it's
of
true.
tapered off? And you told me more mothers and children.
More women, more moms and children, more, and it is younger. It is younger. It used to, you know, the kind of the stereotype you think of the homeless man in his mid-50s or so forth, and maybe a veteran. God bless our veterans, but it's younger and younger in the 30s and now down into the 20s, and we're having a lot of phone calls about folks that are underage, not really adults, and where do they go? And so we're trying to help place them as well. So
there's a separate campus for the women and children.
That's right. That is correct. We keep the men downtown. The women and children are on Rosa Parks in their own campus of care there, and so they do a great job.
Yeah, you know, you get the word out, and you've come up with, over the last couple of years, some of the best commercials. And I've seen it playing again with the same gentleman singing "I'll Be Home for Christmas."
Yes,
and how did that? I'm just curious. I know many of you, if you've watched, have seen it on TV, and it's he's pushing a shopping cart and singing it. Talk about that. You told me about it last year, and that's him singing.
Yeah, that is him singing. He used to sing backup for a well-known country music artist here in Nashville, and then he had some sickness and some disease that really took over his body and his singing voice, and so it caused him to miss a lot of work, and eventually found himself out of a job, out of his apartment and home, and eventually found himself at Nashville Rescue Mission homeless. And he came to us and said, "Hey, I would like to give back. What can I do? Here's my talent, here's my skill, what can I do?" And we connected with our folks and said, let's do this. And so
great idea.
He does a phenomenal job, but it is really him. It's really him singing. He really is a homeless person here in Nashville, or has been, and doing really well now.
It is heartfelt when you see that. I mean, and you know, we'll take some phone calls after we go to the break, but just wanted to talk about the types of folks that sometimes end up in the Union Mission, where, you know, some people may think, well, you know, that's awful, but not me. And I know some folks have struggled with substance abuse.
Sure.
Others have some mental illness. You may have suddenly a physical illness that knocks you out of the game. But really, for a lot of us, we're just one firing from a job away from potentially, I mean, how many Americans, you know, get by but are living paycheck to paycheck? And if you really lost a job and couldn't find another one right off the bat, any one of us could end up potentially on the streets, unable to pay our bills, correct?
Sure. You exhaust all of your savings, you exhaust all of your influence and all your relationship support. You know, over time we have family support, we have church support, but after a while all of that wanes, and then you're kind of left on your own. And so you find your place at a place like Nashville Rescue Mission, and thank God for a place like that, and Room in the Inn, and others that say, hey, we're here to help you. We want you to come in. We're going to help you get back on your feet, and we're going to get you back into productive living.
Absolutely. Well, I can tell you this, and I'll see it again tomorrow when you're there serving meals. And you look at the folks coming through, and there is no stereotype that you can put to that anymore. It is every man and every woman, and children sometimes, which is especially sad to me. But you see them come through, and it could be literally anyone. It could be you, or it could be me. And so,
you know, Nick, our senior staff, we serve lunch periodically at the mission on both campuses, and I remember telling our senior staff that as they're coming through the line, I've been doing this for a long time, and there are people come to the line, and my initial thought is, what are you doing here? Because they look like you and I.
Oh, sure. I've seen folks come through in suits.
Right.
Now, they may have dressed up for the occasion on Thanksgiving, but I've seen very nicely attired, very articulate people you can see, but you wonder just how hard they've been knocked down. And people have pride to some degree, you know? And you shouldn't. This help is there for you, and there's no shame in it whatsoever.
Not at all. Not
because
at all.
The key is that's your first step to getting back in the game.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you're going to find hope there. You'll find people that encourage you, love you, and bring you back to health.
You'll have a smile on your face. Listen, we'll take a break on that note. When we come back, we'll talk more about what you do there and the needs that are there. And we have some phone calls coming in as well. 737-7587. We'll be back with Reverend Cranfield right after this. Stay with us. Yeah, you do see.